Hey everyone, this is the Trader Investor. I want to continue my discussion about SPY trading because yesterday I mentioned something quite important, and with that today came the result. So yesterday I showed you there was a divergence in my oscillator and price action. And this divergence, if you put an RSI, stochastic, MACD, you'll see this divergence. And I saw it on the hourly chart, and when I see it on the hourly chart is more significant to me versus seeing it on a 15-minute chart. But even on the 15 minutes it was even more magnified. That was really absolutely more magnified. So we saw this big divergence here as price was making this higher high here. So when I see this divergence, and I'll go back to the hourly, I just wanted to highlight what I was seeing. So similar to the past, right? It's very, very similar to the past. When we see this divergence, and price is doing this, and what did we see? It immediately followed with a pullback. We have no way of knowing the depth of that pullback. So that's not the intent for me. Because I don't try to pick tops, I don't try to pick bottoms. For me, this divergence says be cautious. If I have a long position, tighten stops or close my positions. That's what this divergence tells me. And so when I move to current time, similarly, very, very similarly, I see this divergence. Price making higher high, but oscillator making lower high. So what did I say yesterday? I said be very careful in this area because price will pull back. Now today we had quite an interesting pullback, right? It's $2.65 from previous day's close. That's a pretty significant pullback. But my expectation is for me to enter long, I need price to come either here to the imbalance or come to the 1 hour demand zone and give me a confirmation that it is done, right? That it is testing this and not go below it. And then I can enter when I see something like this. So I can enter in this area for a long position to reclaim all-time highs or go even higher. But I will have my first sign of trouble would be this area. This would be my target one, where I will take at least 50% of my position. Depending on how fast we get there, what other candlestick patterns or chart patterns that I see, based on that, I will make a decision on where I want to exit. What I mean by that is if I want to exit a little bit sooner, if I see troubles in this area, which is, you know, the high of last week, this zone here is the high of last week. If I see trouble in this area, I might exit. If I see trouble in this highs of current week, then this is already my target, but earlier I might exit. Or if I start seeing some candlestick patterns before that, and if price wants to go down very quickly but fails to make a higher high and starts to go down again, right? This could happen. So this zone here with some candlestick or chart pattern here, I will go and exit my positions. But the main thing on today's video is when I give you an indication, hey, I see this, be careful, there's a reason to it, right? It doesn't always work. Sometimes it takes a prolonged amount of time. In this case, for example, it took this long when price started to do this, right? It didn't do it initially. So if we say in this zone, in this area, it did not do it, right? Because it was making higher high. But as soon as this was done and price was making higher high, but oscillator was making lower high, it took 1 week and 1 trading day before price reversed. In today's instance, after 3 days of continued up, price reversed. So we don't know when. That's why we're cautious. And unless you want to start picking tops and bottoms, which I don't recommend, for me is this was the zone I wanted to be careful. I was very extremely careful, and I'm not entering until I get to this zone. I have my day made, and actually a pretty easy day, because once I exit this position, I have nothing to look at, right? I can close my computer and go about my business and wait for my price to come down here. And usually when I do that, I will put an alert in this level. I will put an alert here in this level. Sorry, I have my drawing tool, that's why. If I do this, add an alert, and when price crosses this level, I'm going to get in. This is the 50% level of my imbalance, and I want to be a little bit more precise, so I'll move it up here. So when price crosses here, I get an alert. So in theory, I don't have to look at this chart until this happens. But we know that's not how markets work, right? So this alert is just to give me an indication in case it happens overnight very quickly. Right now, the ES is telling us that I had a long-term trend line here that was broken, that is reclaimed. It's telling us that it wants to go back up. So I don't have any indication, but you know, if overnight this happens, I want to be alerted so I can focus on it. But otherwise, as usual, when the markets open, I just take a look at what is going on and make a decision accordingly. So the most important thing is you see a divergence, take action. And now the demand zone is in sight. The demand zone is in sight, and we wait for price to enter that demand zone, and boom, if it gives us confirmation, we enter. This is what I'm looking at. This is what is setting up to be. So I wanted to just go over this important lesson for today. All right, everyone, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.